I don't care if I have a bad Sunday or Monday. Like some YouTubers, I don't know what everybody's business, but ones I see on YouTube, they'll have a great Sunday, Monday, and they figured it all out. They're on their way, and then the next video comes out. They're poor. They're not getting sales. It's eBay's fault. So it's too jumpy for me. Welcome back to SM Postcards. Got another agenda today. I think it's right here. I can never get my finger right, but same old stuff, but different stuff. First thing we're going to go through is what's sold on eBay. I only sell on eBay now. I don't sell on Etsy, Hip, and all these other sites and stuff. I just went to one site. Makes it easier. I can focus and do a better job. So we'll go through the cards there. Sold 14 cards. Not too bad. Then we're going to do a deep dive on Mackinac Island postcards in Michigan. Everybody knows the Mackinac Bridge. If you've been doing postcards, you've seen the Grand Hotel, stuff like that. We visited that way back when my daughter was first born, 30-some years ago. And I would love to go back. It was one of my favorite places. We took a hydroplane boat thing over to the other island, across the bay there. It was pretty neat. We rode bikes around. There's no cars on the island. I did a poll. We're coming to the end of the year. Got to start thinking about 2025. You're going to continue doing this. You're going to pull the trigger. You're going to open your own website. Do all these other things. Do you have a budget for your business? Was the poll. If you're just a hobby seller doing this for collection to buy more postcards and stuff, it might not be important to keep track like I do. This is what I do. I'm going to show you and how to build a budget real quick, just to give you an insight. You can take it from here or whatever. I also show you how I broke down the worksheet to do this and some what-if scenarios, usually with how I do numbers and stuff. But it's a real easy way. When you hear me say I want to do 16 cards a day, I want to do $80 a day, I want to raise my ASP, average sale price, and I want to be very stingy about what cards I buy, you'll see where I get that from. And I've already considered 2024 over. I'm already moving into 2025. Been there for a while, getting things ready for 2025 to see where I can cut costs and stuff. And you'll see how a little thing like this can help you in your mind have a more business sense than having this conspiracy theories about eBay and promoted listings and different stores. We'll get into some of that in viewer comments I pulled and paraphrased from emails. But this is how I run a business, and how I've been taught is to use data, not just what people say and stuff. You got to take that in consideration sometimes, but unless there's data behind it, it doesn't mean much to me. But before I get started, I wanted to show something that Kevin, the postcard guy, he's got a YouTube channel, he's got a Facebook group, he's very active in the Facebook group and on the channel. He gets some amazing real photo postcards. He gets boxes of them, and he goes through them when he gets them, and he shows you what's sold. He sells higher end cards. He doesn't have like 50,000 listings up. These are cards that are unique, real photo postcards, and if you want to learn about those, Kevin's been doing a really long time. Well, I meet Kevin every year when I go down to Siesta Key. We've been going down there for over 25 years. And Kevin moved to Sarasota from New Jersey. So every time I go down there, I let him know. And we end up having lunch at this little place down the road from where we stay. And we talk for a couple hours and stuff like that. He's a really nice guy. Check out his channel. Subscribe. It's another postcard channel out there. There's Mailseum. There's Popeye. Epic Treasure Ken. Down in the bottom of my channel, if you go to the channel page on the computer, you can see I try to list them. If your name is not there, let me know and I'll add it out there if you have a postcard channel. So there's room for everybody in this niche on YouTube and selling postcards. But here, if you remember this video, my wife, I was bidding on this machine and I lost the bid at the auction. Well, my wife was the one bidding and she won it, and she gave it to me as a gift because she knew I really wanted it. And it's this machine here. This is the video. And if you notice, in the video I talk about, I finally found the comp for this on WorthPoint, but it doesn't have the label, the logo of Exhibit Supply Company at the bottom. It must have wore off or never was put there. Well, Kevin saw that and he had some new old stock labels. Look what he sent. I have a label now. Right there. It's for Exhibit Company. I think you can see the name on there. But watch that video about this. card machine. It's a 2-cent machine, but I appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you for sending that, and I let my wife put it on to make sure it was straight and even in the right spot. I didn't do it. Go check them out. Subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into this what's sold and get this over with so we can get into Mackinac Island postcards. First card sold for $5.75. University of Oregon. It's a stadium. AUTZEN Stadium. Chrome card of a stadium. $5.75 unposted. This is the Longhorn Cavern State Park, Texas. Looks like a little cave with some stairs. Chrome card. $4.75. Navy ship. HMCS Hopeli DDE 264. Nice chrome card. Unposted. $4.75. Another Navy ship, USS Arizona BB-39. A lot of history with that ship. It's a publisher card that they bought. $4.75. This card sold for $7.55. Fort Andrew, Paddocks Island, Boston Harbor. It's a divided back card, posted in 1910. Nope, it's an undivided back card. This is Fort Andrews, and it's undivided. There's no line there. $7.55. This is one of those color prints of USS New Jersey BB-62. It's a vertical print. It's on that lighter cardstock, doing a full broadside. I've sold a lot of these cards. I've got about 2 left, and that's it. Had a whole pack of them. $4.75. Watch the corn grow, watch the grass grow, and this is tall corn vacation land scene. Not for sure where it is, but there's some lady. It's like a where's that one guy? You got to find him in the pictures. She's wearing that shirt. I sold a postcard of corn, and people ask me, what do people buy? This is why I can't really say, because someone bought some corn. $4.75. This is a highway, Alaska Way Viaduct, Seattle. Nice darker picture with the lights on it and stuff. This is posted 1959 chrome card, but if you notice, it's got a little moisture on the back. Didn't stop it from selling. $4.75. This is a Doolittle did a lot. This is that Doolittle going to Japan with the big boy and the atomic bombs that hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Plane going right there. It's a reprint of a photo, I think, because it's a chrome card. $4.75. This person bought 4 cards for $19. First one is Port Columbus and Terminal Building, Columbus, Ohio. And it was posted in 1950s. So he bought the Columbus, Ohio. Let's see if the theme sticks with Ohio on this one. This one is the Riverside Columbus Shows, Ohio. Another building. Can't really tell when it was posted. They double stamped it, but it's got rounded corners on there. It doesn't really give you much money, I find, if you put rounded corners. It doesn't. Some people might collect that, I don't know. That's another Columbus, Ohio. This here is solar glass front exterior protects the original Roman facade, invites public. Some kind of COSI, maybe it's in Ohio. Anybody know it there? I have no idea. $4.75. Don't have to know what it is to sell it, I'll tell you that. Greetings from Columbus, Ohio. So this guy was an Ohio guy. It's a skyline scene, night scene of Ohio with a building. I think that's the Terminal Building, State Office Building. So 4 cards for $19, chrome cards of Columbus, Ohio. And then I put this one up. This is the Easter fires burn each year in Fredericksburg. Easter fires, kind of a neat shot. It's got a bunny. This guy's got ears. Where's he at? He's got ears right up here, if you can see it. But Easter fires, chrome card, $4.75. All together, I sold 14 cards. I want to do 16, I only did 14. Made $73.27. Now these are gross numbers because I don't do all that expenses and promotions and all that stuff. It gets too complicated to say final value fees, so you can take 20-25% off around there. Be easy, conservative number. So $73.27 gross for all these cards. If I take 7327 divided by 14, I get 523. As long as you do the same data and the comparisons the same way every time, you have something to do. So if I go in and take the net and take this and get down to the last semantics, it's going to take too long. So I just do the gross number divided cards, 533. It still gives me the same thing. I know there's fees and I know all that other stuff's in there, but 523 is below what I've been doing, so it went down a little bit. For the year, it's kind of flat, just a little rise. It's kind of a side trend. It's just rising a little bit. I had some really good cards sold earlier this year, but it's going to flatten out, I think. It depends on what it does in the last month or so of the year. That's what's sold. And thanks again, Kevin, for that sticker. It made my day. I'm whole now. That little box there. So far, it's stayed on my shelf over here. Right there. I think I'm pointing it right. I never get this right. Right there. I asked her if she wanted to put it out for the kids. The grandkids like to play with these machines, but we haven't found a home for it yet over in our other area where we have the slot machines and stuff like that. And I'll show you guys a picture of it when we find a home for it. But watch that video. It's a really neat machine, and it's not for sale. She said, I gotta keep it, which I will. Mackinac Island. Deep dive. Great place to go. Great vacation place and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about Mackinac Island. Some history on it, get your curiosity up so you know a little bit more about it. And I learn a lot by doing these videos. That's why I keep doing them. Plus for you guys, because you guys support the channel so well. We're up to over 3,100 subscribers. And people comment, do the polls, do the quizzes. They support the Ko-Fi shop. It just makes me want to keep doing more. But I only got so much time that I can put to everything, so I try to keep going. But I have a whole bunch of stuff ready for 2025. I'm doing some stuff early this year. Widget Wednesdays, bi-weekly, every 2 weeks I do just a small, quick, don't put a lot of editing into it video. Just a lot of it's just really quick scripted. I think I did one on thermal printers, scanners, linking social media, the errors of postcards, just something so if you need a reference you can go back to it real quick. And plus it reinforces to me some of the videos I did a while ago. But thanks again for all the support. But while I talk about Mackinac Island, I'm going to show you some postcards that I found out there. Here we go. Mackinac Island, located in Lake Huron, that's Lake Huron, one of the Great Lakes, between Michigan's upper and lower peninsula, has a rich history that dates back to the early Native American tribes. The island was originally inhabited by Ojibwe people. I'll put it right down here. You know me with names. Ojibwe? Someone can send me a message how to pronounce that. Maybe I'll go on Google. Who used it as a strategic location for trade and ceremonies. In the late 1600s, French explorers arrived and began trading with the Native Americans, establishing Mackinac Island as a key center for fur trading. In the early 1800s, Mackinac Island became an important military and economic hub. It was the site of Fort Mackinac. We saw that fort up there, which played a significant role during the War of 1812 between the United States and Britain. The fort was strategically important due to its location, and its presence helped shape the island's development. After the war, the island continued to grow as a popular resort destination. Today, Mackinac Island is known for its unique charm, historic preservation. Cars are banned except for some emergency vehicles, so transportation is done by horse-drawn carriages, bicycles, and on foot. The island's Victorian-era architecture and scenic landscapes attract visitors who want to experience a step back in time. The Grand Hotel, built in 1887, is one of the most famous landmarks, offering a glimpse into the island's elegant past and its ongoing appeal as a getaway. That Grand Hotel has one of, I think, the longest front porch. It's just huge. We saw it. Mackinac Island postcards are a charming way to capture and share the island's unique beauty and historic charm, featuring images of horse-drawn carriages, iconic Grand Hotel, and the stunning natural landscapes. These postcards offer a glimpse into the island's old world allure. That's too much for me to say. They often showcase the quaint, car-free streets and the lush greenery of the island, making them perfect souvenirs for visitors and delightful way to send a touch of Mackinac's magic to friends and family. A lot of Mackinac Island postcards out there. I got 3 facts. The first one's about mysterious horse poop ordinance. Yeah, horse poop ordinance from our favorite politicians. Mackinac Island has a bizarre law that requires horse poop to be cleaned up within a certain time frame. If it is not, the poop patrol will fine you. So if the poop patrol pulls up, I wonder if they have like a poop mobile, like the Oscar Mayer hot dog thing. Looks like one of those emojis of poop. The odd regulation helps keep the island streets clean and charming, but can seem quite unusual to visitors. Ghostly Bicycle Brigade. There's a local legend about a ghostly bicycle brigade that rides through the island at night. People have reported hearing the sounds of invisible bicycles and seeing eerie lights along the roads, adding a spooky and surreal element to the island's nighttime atmosphere. And the last fact, the haunted fudge. That goes, I hope the poop patrol can see between the two, fudge and poop. The haunted fudge. Mackinac Island's famous fudge is rumored to be haunted by a sweet-toothed spirit. According to legend, if you leave a piece of fudge out overnight, it mysteriously disappears. Supposedly taken by a ghost with insatiable craving for the island's signature treat. That fudge over there is just amazing. And the fish, it was so fresh. It's still in my mind after 35 years or whatever. And out there, I would love to just go out there and get the fish. Same with, I think it's Santa Monica Island in California. I remember eating the fresh fish. Some things just stick with you, you know. So it was a treat to go there. I would love to go back there. It's not too far of a drive for us. We could do not a day trip, but we'd go up there for a weekend or whatever and see it. But does Mackinac Island sell? Sell-through rate, this little chart here. If it comes up 0 to 3%, this is what's moving through eBay in 90 days. I just look at the sold and the listed. I click sold, I unclick, I get listed numbers. If it comes up 0 to 3%, the probability of them selling is lower. They're going to sit longer. Not saying they won't sell, they might. But I work between the 4 and 10%, the average and high. So if it falls in between there, that's usually what I pick up. It's usually what moves. They still do sit. Some sell right away, some don't. It just depends. But while I'm looking for that, I usually find the really good cards, the 11 plus. If I just focus looking for 11 plus cards, I'm going to miss some of the stuff that pays my bills, and that's the average cards. So I have a tendency to go to 4 to 10%. Don't try to pick up the 0 to 3, but I end up doing anyway because I think that looks like a cool card, but there's so many out there they don't sell it well. And I end up finding those good ones. And I found some good ones. A good one to me is $12 to $25 cards. I'll pick them up all day and stuff. Now, real photo postcards, the real unique ones and stuff like that, those are not in my average world and the sell-through rate. Those sell themselves. You do your research, you do your homework, put them up there. You can get $1,500. I've seen cards sell for a mega amount of money because people have done the research. I'm not the researcher as much. I will get these cards and get them out to collectors. I like to move volume, and you're going to see that in the poll where I talk about budgets. But how did Mackinac Island come out? Postcard Mackinac Island is what I used. There's 439 sold with 9,800 listed. Times it by 100 to get a percent. It comes out to be 4%. So basically their vacation card, it's an average card. It's at the bottom of the average, so it's an average card. So if I see a box full of postcards and they got a good 25% or Mackinac Island, I know those are going to sit. My price is going down because I know I'm going to list them and I'll put them out there, but they're going to sit. So I can't put a lot of money into it because that's capital sitting there. That's money out that's sitting there. Now if I get a lot of 8 to 10% high cards in that box, a lot of 11 plus and stuff like that, higher sell-through rate, I'm going to pay what they're asking or more to secure the deal. But if I see a lot of average cards, 4 to 7% in a box, and they want $100 for a box of cards, I'll probably go to 40 or 50. I want those as cheap as possible. Give a fair deal to the buyer, but you need to educate them also. These cards don't move. And this is what this can do to help me so I don't overspend. So when I sell a postcard, I still get my margin. That's the hardest part of there is you get overwhelmed. Someone's got 10,000 postcards and they want this much money for it. You got to get them down a little bit so your margins are there. In the toy world, I paid 40% of what I'm going to sell it for. So if I was selling an action figure for $100, I paid $30 to $40 for it is my max. And if they said 50, I walked away. You have to be prepared to walk away, no matter how bad you need to source. If the money's not there, there's no reason in business to do it. Now, if you're a hobby and you want to keep some of the cards and stuff, different story. If you got some money to burn, there. But if, say you spend up on one lot and then you go and buy another lot, couple lots real cheap, your average for the year of postcards is going to go down. That's how I look at it for the year. So if one guy wants $150 for these postcards, I might pay $150, but the other ones I know for the year, for keep my cost of goods down, I need to go lower for those. But these are really nice variety. You got to have variety and quantity in a store like mine. So sometimes I'll pay up just to get that variety, but I know I have to get the other ones cheaper to offset that. Also, does this 4% really stick? I go out there and I find a couple more resort places. I just, off the cuff, come up in my head, and I put in there Postcard Block Island, which is another kind of Mackinac Island. It's an island. Comes up 9%, so that's higher. And then Nantucket, 8%. Then Shelter Island, 8%. So Mackinac Island is lower. So I would probably say 4 to 7% is good for Mackinac Island. It's an average card. These other ones, I don't see where they might be. Nantucket, there's a lot of postcards, 8%. I would still put that in the average. Shelter Island, I don't see many of. There's not many sold or out there. 8% I think is good. And then Mackinac's 4. So I would say 4 to 7 is a good thing. So sell-through rate is done. I know it's an average card in my head. It's not a one that's going to make me a lot of money quick. But I do like variety, so I will pick up a batch of those. I don't know if I got a lot of Mackinac Islands. I have to go out and check. But after you do the sell-through rate, you come up with an average, you go to pricing. That can determine, have a variable in how many cards sell. If you price them too high, then they're not going to sell. Too low, where's the perceived value? You got to find that common spot. So it's a game, but you get pretty good at it for a while once you get these data points. Once you get the data points, you can kind of figure out where you want to be. But I didn't find any real extreme Mackinac Island postcards, the $50 to $70, $80 ones really out there. So again, I took 8 postcards. I just started from the top of the average that I see all the time, we'll see, and took the high water mark up there. And we go from $40 down to $3 in this 8 cards. So it gives you a good idea of what they're selling for and what you can get for them. The first one is a Mackinac Island, Michigan, arriving at dock, ship, people, ticket, booth. It's keyword stuff. It doesn't read. Now, some people use that as a tool for SEO and searches and get visibility. I'm not a keyword stuffer. I like titles that read. I would probably take what's on the postcard, Mackinac Island, ship docking or whatever, and move it from there and put postcard up front. It doesn't really matter where it falls anywhere with the queries these days. The first 5 characters and all that stuff, I don't even play with it. It just, whatever's on the card I put there. But they took an offer on that for $39.99, probably $35. Not a bad deal. $35. It sold. Next one is Mackinac Island, Fort Mackinac Golf Course. A golf course. Number 1, boom, that's a flag right there to saying, hey, that's the green flag. Golf courses. I like golf. I did a video on golfing. And some of those can do good, especially with the holes, but this is a good one. Sold it for $14. Mackinac Golf Course. Next one is the Grand Hotel. Porch, POV, Lake Huron. Point of view of Lake Huron from the porch. $12.50. A lot of Grand Hotel postcards out there, so be careful of them. Then here's the storefronts along Main Street on Mackinac Island. Probably took $10. It was $12 and they took our best offer. Probably $10, $8. That's a nice picture. I think there's it looks like a white border to me. Probably a lot of those out there. It's probably what bring the price down a little bit, but that's not bad. Nice average. Now we get into below $10. A carriage team on Main Street, Mackinac Island, Michigan. $9.98. Because it was at $19.95 and they did a 50% discount to get rid of these things. And this was back in July 2024. I've seen cards like this. That's a nice card there. It's a touristy card, and it sold for about $10. I'll do it. then here's a great picture of the Mackinac Bridge. We didn't drive over it, but there's people that are afraid to drive on this bridge. I think in my bridge video on Bridge Postcards, I talked about there's people on each end that will drive your car for you over the bridge, and then they go back and forth, and that's what their job is to get you over the bridge, because a lot of people are scared to do that. I know my daughter-in-law was scared to go over the Sunshine Bridge going down to Sarasota. She didn't like it at all, and I thought it was cool. You go up and you go down. I was driving, but there's people that drive the cars over. But the Mackinac Bridge is iconic. Got $10, $9.95 for it. I call these banner cards because it's got a banner across it. It's a scenic Mackinac Island ferry boat. It's like a multi-view. They call these multi-views as well, banner cards. It's whatever you like to use. Antique vintage, Michigan. It's $8, and I probably got $5 for it. Yeah, that's a normal average card to me. That'd be a $4.75, $5 card on there. And in Chippewa Hotel, Mackinac Island. This is a neat card. I think it's undersold. And it's sold for $3, but they charge them $4.64 for shipping. And that's sold in June of 2024. So it's still sold for a total of $7 to the buyer, but that's a neat little card with the map there. I would have probably put that $6 to $8 free shipping and just let it go. Use eBay standard envelope, and they might have bought another card. You never know. So we go from $40 best offer down to $3. I don't comp a lot of the Grand Hotels unless they're something unique. A lot of these cards go up between $4 and $6. The Bridge, pretty common. That $9.95 is probably a little bit of an outlier. Depends on the age of the card and the view. So just use your gut. If you want to move cards, keep it a little there and a little under, and you'll move them and stuff. That's Mackinac Island. Have any of you guys been there? You live close to it? I mean, another thing is they told me they put Christmas trees across the Lake Huron when it freezes, so the people know in snowmobiles, they take the Christmas trees from Christmas and they lay them out on a path so people know how, in the snowstorms, how to get across the lake. I wonder if that's true or not. One of the locals told us there, because we camped up there when we went up there 30-some years ago. Who knew? Now we're going to get into the poll. I send out polls every Saturday between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Central. But today's poll was, do you have a budget for your reselling business? This is probably really important this time of year going into 2025. To me, 2024 is already over. I've been working, getting stuff ready for 2025 since the middle of third quarter. Whatever comes in, fourth quarter comes in. I sell collectibles, so is someone going to get a Christmas present of a postcard? I can't force people to buy my stuff. But this poll was, do you have a budget for your reselling business? 29% said yes, they know what they want to do, they manage to that budget, and they forecast what they're doing. Then 61% said no. Now I think a lot of the 61% are just hobby sellers with a collection, sell some postcards, get some more, stuff like that. I hope that's what it is. But if they're treating this as a business, you need to set a budget. Even if you do it in your head, how much do you want to make next year? How much you want to spend every month? And you're going to see that in some scenarios I put together and how I put my budget together and how easy it is. I show you how I set up my little worksheet, spreadsheet, and then I'm going to go through how to increase your sales profit and stuff like that and what the effort is right after I go through some of this poll stuff. But 29% said yes, 61% no, 10% is other on the fence. I come from the business world. I've been in business management, the whole works for all my life. We always had a budget. A budget is something we set for the year. So if I had a business and I say I want to do $50,000 this year, that's my sales number, my income coming in. And then I want to say how much I want to sell each item for. I can do average sale price of $5.50, $6. It'll give me the number of items I need to sell. And then what profit percent do I want at the bottom out of that $50,000? How much money do I want to put in profit, invest in the business, pay myself, and do other things? And usually that's about 40% for resellers is what I use for discussion purposes. Some people go out to yard sales and buy stuff for $2 and sell it for $200. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the average stuff like I do. the consistent sales coming in, I look for 40-50%. That gives me room. The other 60 to buy stock and do other things like that, I want that left over. And that can put a little bit of money in the bank and do other things. So that's what a budget does. And then we also had forecasts. So once we set a budget in place in the department I was in managing or whatever team, say it's $50,000, well, the first 3 months of the year, January, February, March, say we were forecasted to spend, you know, $20,000 in that, we only spent 10. A lot of other higher up managers will say, hey, Mark's team's not spending it. I have another team that's overspent. I'm going to take that $10,000 away from him and change his forecast. Not the budget. The budget doesn't change. The forecast does. And give it to the other team. Well, now I'm out $10,000 because I didn't spend that money. Then when the next year comes around, they're going to say, well, you don't need this much money. You didn't spend it last year. We took $10,000 from you. So there's a lot of games played. So if you set a budget to a department, you want to spend the money that you said you're going to spend. So companies do have money to spend because they have it in the budget. Now, if overall the company, you're not meeting your sales target, then you need to reduce your expenses and stuff so you can reach that profit thing. That's what those three things do in a budget. On there, forecasts can be changed, budgets don't. And you're going to see my 2025 budget. And every time I do a video, I pretty well talk about that I want to do $80 a day, sell 16 cards, raise my ASP, and be strict about what I buy for postcards to help that goal. This is where it comes from. It's a small little budget. A lot of information here, so take your time, pause, and stuff like that. And if it helps, it helps. If you're just a hobby person, it might not be what you're looking for. But a lot of people are trying to figure out the money part. That, to me, it's the easiest part, is running the business, is all this complex money stuff. The harder part is to try to increase your profit and stuff like that. It takes a little bit of work, and I'll show you what that is. I build a worksheet. Now, I'm not going to send you a spreadsheet or anything like that. I'm going to show you how, on the screen here, you can take a picture of it, screenshot, or whatever, and you can build your own. To me, if I send you a spreadsheet, you're not learning how to put a budget together or to use the spreadsheet to save time. It just increases tech support for me. Something didn't work. But say I'm doing a test for something. I was certified on a lot of different things. I had to go get certified on them. So they would give us like 10 hours of online instruction, and then they had some practice tests. I wouldn't go out and do 15 practice tests until I got an A, because all I was doing was memorizing the practice test. I wanted to absorb and learn the information they're giving us, so I would only do like 2 practice tests to let me know what I needed to study on a little bit more to take the certification test. So that's, if you ask me for a spreadsheet, I probably won't send you one, because it's mine are very custom over the years, and it probably wouldn't work for you. And I don't know what type of computer you have or knowledge and stuff like that. I don't want to be in tech support, but here is the example. And on the right side here, or whatever, I think it's this side on you, is how all the calculations are. So if you take a screenshot of this and you know spreadsheets or you want to learn it, this is how it's all calculated. So in the top part of it, you got sales, ASP is average sale price, and profit percent. So you put your sales in there, then you put your what you want to do average sale price. My average sale price is going to be between $5 and $8. Now I'm going to be conservative in 2025. I'm going to put $5.50. $5.50 is basically the average. I sell 475 postcards. I sell $8 postcards. I sell some of the higher ones, so it moves around, but I think $5.50 is conservative to give me some room. Then the profit percent, what do you want? I want to get in 2025 50%. I'm going to show you that at the end here on there. So that's where you put those 3 numbers in. And the great shaded area there is the only 3 numbers you have to think about and put in. Everything else in the bottom down there is going to be automatically calculated. So how this sheet's put together, let's go through this. Number 1 is your budgeted sales for the year. What is in the top gross? These are gross numbers. I don't do net because everybody promotes differently and all that stuff. This is your gross numbers. What is your sales? You want to do 50,000, 20,000, 10,000. You put that in number 1. Then you figure out your average sale price. I'm going to set it to $5.50. You might do $8. You might do $16. Whatever your average sale price you want to try to meet. And then your profit percent, 40, 50, 60%. I don't think most people are going to be up at real high because there's just not a lot of room with eBay fees and stuff like that. You got to come up with a realistic number. You can put 110% there if you want. It's just how you run your business. So 1, 2, and 3 is where you put those in, and on the side there is 1, 2, and 3. Then you get into the bottom part where it calculates. Like the first column is for the year, quarter, month, and week. I don't care if I have a bad Sunday or Monday. Like some YouTubers, I don't know what everybody's business, but ones I see on YouTube, they'll have a great Sunday, Monday, and they figured it all out. They're on their way, and then the next video comes out. They're poor. They're not getting sales. It's eBay's fault. So it's too jumpy for me. It's too up and down. Tell me what you're doing for the week, quarter, month, year on there. And I really don't worry that much about the week as much. I worry about the month a little bit, but the quarter is where I really look at it, especially 6 months into the year. I might have to adjust some things. If you don't catch it by 6 months to your budget, you're going to have problems trying to catch up. You don't want to play catch up. So you catch it by 6 months on your adjustments, and then I look at the year. How am I doing for the year and stuff? Doing it by the day doesn't mean anything to me, because every retail business, like in the restaurant business, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were our slowest days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were our busy days. We knew we weren't going to do a lot of sales on Monday and Tuesday, but we knew we were going to do it Friday, Saturdays for sure. So that's just retail. But if you look at the year column, just takes your sales in number 1. B takes your sales divided by your ASP, will give you the number of cards you need to sell to reach your budget. So if your average there, and you're going to see that here in the second rule examples. And then C is your profit percent, which takes sales times the 40% or whatever. And then you get into the quarter. The quarter is basically the year sales, just divided by 4. The month, G, is the year sales divided by 12. And the week, J, is the sales divided by 52. And it goes through the same calculation. So once you put those 3 numbers in 1, 2, and 3, all of that in the bottom will calculated. On the side there in red, we'll show you the calculations that I used to build this little worksheet. Now let's look at some numbers in here. So that setup, this makes it easier for you. Now I looked at, and let's say I want to do $15,000 next year. These are just all this for discussion purposes, the numbers. So I put that in sales. My average sale price, I said I want to do $550 per item, per card that I sell, gross $550, and the profit percent I want to hit is 40. Now these aren't the exact numbers I have in my 2025 budget. I'm going to show you at the end here. These are just demonstration purposes only. So I want to do $15,000 in sales. I want to do $550 average sale price, and I want to make 40% profit. You go to the bottom, it automatically calculates. For the year, you want to do $15,000. You got to sell 2,727 postcards. And you'll put $6,000 in your pocket gross at the end of the year if you follow this budget. For the quarter, you got to sell 682 postcards, and you can put $1,500 in your pocket. For the month, you got to sell 227 postcards, and you'll put $500 a month in your pocket. That goes a long way for some people. That's food. That's, kids' school, different things. If you got an at-home wife because you got 3 kids, and the husband's out working, or vice versa, the wife's working, the husband stays home, then if they can bring some kind of income in while they're at home, $500 a month, that adds up. That helps out with a lot of stuff. And then for the week, you got to sell 52 postcards a week. That's a little stretch for some people. They're only selling 1 a day, but if you sell 1 card a day, that's 30. You're almost there. You just need to get some better cards, or just because a reputation takes a little bit of time, get more listings, and you can get it up to 52 cards a week average. You're going to make $15,000 gross, and you're going to put $6,000 in your pocket if you manage your expenses. That's what a budget does. It gives you a goal. Instead of worrying about eBay and all these hacks and doing all this promoted listings, trying to increase that sales number, this gives you in there. So if you, in a 6-month period, you look at where you're at on these 3 things, are you going to hit your target? And if you are, then you're good for the year. It's not that one nirvana. Everybody tries to be a millionaire. You got to baby step it up, and that's what this does. But say I want to increase my sales next year. I can set my sales be $20,000. Now look at that. At the bottom there, everything is green. It's all increasing. Sales are the easiest thing to increase. ASP, moderate effort. Profit is the hardest, in my opinion. But if I increase my budget to $20,000, which is reachable, I got to sell 3,636 cards a year, or I got to sell 70 a week, 70 postcards a week, or 303 postcards a month, and that'll put $8,000 gross in my pocket a year, or $666 a month. So you increase sales, everything goes up. Now, if you try to increase your ASP, some people want to do $15 average sale price. I'll get into a little bit more about the effort and stuff and pros and cons of that in a minute. But the next one here is I want to increase it to $650. So I want to get some better cards. I want to try to get a little bit more. I want to raise my prices, and let's see if I can do it. Well, if you do that, sales don't increase. Your average sale price increased. The number of cards you got to sell went down. You only have to sell 44 a day or a week, and then 192 a month, and 2,308 cards a year. So basically, by increasing ASP and keeping your sales the same, you're doing less work and you're making the same amount of money. But if you increase your prices, will that reduce your sales because there's so much competition out there right now? It's very saturated. Are you trying to sell a $4 postcard for $12, and there's 100 of them out there between $5 and $8? So you got to play with these numbers. But if you increase ASP and nothing else, you're doing less work and making the same money if you're meeting your budget. And that's where, if you have a good reputation, your presentation and stuff like that works in, and you have a good service now along with your cards, you could probably get away with that. Something to experiment with. But say I want to try to increase profit from 40% to 50%. A lot of different ways to do that, but it's harder. And if you look at that, the sales didn't increase, the number of cards didn't increase, but my dollars at the bottom increased. So it means buying your cards at a better price. It means reducing your shipping cost, reducing your expenses. Don't buy a lot of stuff. You have to manage it through the year. So by increasing sales, everything moves up. Increasing ASP, less work, same amount of money. In profit, you just put more money in your pocket. That's the three things I look at. Let's go through here and just look at how I looked at sales real quick. And we all know how this spreadsheet works now. Put the three numbers at the top, and it calculates at the bottom. I said I want to do $15,000 a year, $550 ASP, and 40% profit. I'm going to put $6,000 in my pocket, or $500 a month. Gross. Say I want to increase my sales to $20,000. Nothing else changes. I just want to increase sales to $20,000. I'm going to put $8,000 a year in my pocket, or $666 in my pocket a month. What if I want to do $25,000 a year? I want to budget for that. I want to get my sales to $25,000 and leave $550 average sale price and 40% profit. I'm going to put $10,000 in my pocket, gross, or $833 a month in my pocket. Now let's say I want to do $30,000. $30,000 selling $5 postcards. It is possible. It is possible. I'm going to put $12,000 gross in my pocket a year, or $1,000 a month. For some people, that is a game changer. If you got a stay-at-home person with the kids, or just can't work outside the home, this is a great thing to do, like all of reselling. This is just one part of the niche. And if you notice, I didn't change my profit, and I didn't change my average sale price. I just increased my sales. In the beginning, you're probably not going to be at $30,000. It's going to take a while, a couple years or whatever. You get a good reputation, you learn the product and stuff like that. It will come and it will grow if you do it right and take care of it. People get discouraged in the first year with postcards. They'll put 400 postcards up and they're not selling, so they stop. Well, they'll never gain more, and I'll show you those in a second. But that's what you can do with a budget on there. Now, here's my budget for 2025. I want to do $30,112 this year in selling postcards. And you're saying, Where did you come up with 30,112? I basically said I want to do 16 cards a day this year, and I didn't meet it, so I dropped it by 1. I want to do 15 cards a day. 15 cards a day times 365 days for the year, and I times it by my average sale price of $5.50, and it comes up with $30,112 there. So I have to sell 105 postcards a week. That's going to be tough with the what I've seen this year, but hopefully with everything going on this year with the election and stuff like that, I'm hoping next year, I'm banking next year is going to be a better year. That's what I'm banking on. So I'm forecasting that I'm going to do better just with the economy and everything else in 2025 than I did the last 2 years, or last 2024. So I'm going to challenge myself here. Am I going to make that? Possibly. We'll see. But I got to sell 5,475 postcards next year. And I'm going to put $15,000 in my pocket, almost $1,200 a month gross in my pocket. So that's how I came up with my budget. I also increased my profit. Since I've managed my expenses in the last 2 years, I've got it down to a fine art, and I'm basically down to nothing. By day 2 of every month, I've already paid for my monthly bills, my eBay store and stuff like that, the first 2-3 days of the month. So I'm doing real well, and I've been able to put money away every month. So I said, well, I can raise it. I'm going to challenge myself on sales and profit. I'm going to leave my ASP alone, because my 56,000 cards I got up here, a lot of them are $4 to $8. So I really don't think I'm going to increase my average sale price. Unless I go out and find a whole bunch of real photo postcards and do all that researching, which I'm not going to change my method. I'm going to try to do some other things. I'm not for sure what all of it is yet, but I need to increase sales, and I need to watch my expenses for sure to meet this budget. It's not hard to do, but I need to be consistent. So that's my thing. Now we're going to walk through a couple things here, little pros and cons, or just things about I put together about the different areas, how to increase, and what the pros and cons, I would say, to a point on there. But when reselling vintage postcards on eBay, the 3 key metrics, so these are 3 key metrics: sales volume, average sale price, ASP, and profit percent. Each have their own dynamics. They are different. Here's how they compare in terms of ease of increasing. Ease of increasing. The first one is sales volume can be easier to increase because it's largely depends on listing more items and optimizing visibility. Everybody talks about good pictures, SEO, search engine, keywords, all this stuff you hear all the time. But with postcards, you only get really 2 pictures. A side view of a postcard is that. A bottom view is that. So you get the front and the back. Some people do these blow-in things. I just do 2 scans. That's it. That's what. And never had a problem with it. So visibility. Why? More listings. Why have more listings? The more postcards you list, the more chances you have to sell. More lines in the water will get more possibility of getting more fish. Buyers browsing eBay are looking for a variety, and if you have a wide selection, it increases your chances of making a sale. I have quantity and variety in my store. I sell squirrels to tigers, to bridges, the boats, the whole works. And I have them in categories so people can search in there. Then your SEO and keywords, keyword stuffers, your search engine, what they're looking for. I try to go for the target of the card. I don't worry about all the little lattice fences, the yellow flower. I don't put all that into keywords because people are not going to buy the card just for the yellow flower. They're going to buy this card probably because this has a trolley on there in some park. That's the subject of the card, not the bird flying in the sky to fill up the 80 characters. I don't do that. I want to try to tell a better story in 2025. And a lot of times, the postcards already have your title right on the card. You might just add a few things. Putting vintage, rare, all that other stuff up there doesn't help to me. Not telling a story. Everybody knows it's a vintage postcard if it's divided back. Basically, everything's pretty well vintage, except the brand newer ones, you ask me. So your SEO and keywords, using effective keywords in titles and descriptions, increase visibility. Don't bank just on that. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Postcards with popular themes, certain cities and towns. Get to know what those are. Watch these videos. Comp your things. Look at my sell-through rate document I put out in 2025. Pick up the cards with good sell-through rates. Most of the stuff I sell on Chrome cards is city and towns, is what I sell. I sell a lot of Navy ships, but cities and towns, I make sure I get those for churches and stuff like that. Target the best audience for the subject of the card. The titles on most postcards are normally what is needed with some modifications. Don't just, people say put it up front, put it back. It doesn't matter to me. People are going to read it. Trolley car in Belle Isle Island, Detroit, Michigan. What else do you need to know? I don't need to know it was posted there. You can put all that in item specifics. It'll still search and stuff like that. Make it easier, make it quicker, and spend less time putting these $5 to $8 cards up. Education is another big one to increase sales. Having a deep knowledge in the types of postcards and sell-through rates of each. If you watch my videos, I target, that's what I work on, those two things, and it's been successful for me. Can help in selecting and sourcing postcards that move the quickest without overspending. You got to pick up the stuff that sells. Now, everybody says, well, I think this is going to sell. Don't want to say I think, you want to say I know. The probability of this card selling over this card is because of the data and plus my experience. So you take all that together. You just don't want to guess in business. Sometimes you do, you take a chance, but if you can't afford to, make sure you got some data. But education by watching the channel and the videos that I do, I go through these key things. Then challenges with increasing sales. The more you sell, the more you must manage in terms of shipping, customer service, and possibly lower margins if you're focused on volume over price. I'm a volume person. That's why my average sale price is $5.50. Some other people that do the higher end cards, they're going to sell less cards and do more less work and make more money, but they have a lot of time invested, and you're going to see that in a second. So there's challenges, but at volume, you're just moving through. So you got to find that place. So if you buy them really good, you can sell them for a good price and still make your margin on there. If you buy them high, you got to sell them higher, your sales are going to go down. So you got to play with it and see what's going on out there. Now the next one, average sale price. How do I increase that, or what am I going to do with that to help my budget? So it's the effort to increase average sale price to me is moderate. It's not high, it's not low effort, it's moderate to increase. Increasing the average sale price is moderately easy, but requires strategic moves like focusing on higher value postcards. Why? Specialized postcards, high value postcards, the rare, the hard to find, collectible, or unique ones, can fetch significantly higher prices. We see that all the time on YouTube. Someone will show you some really neat cards and they got good prices for them. Focusing on quality over quantity can raise ASP, but sourcing these cards can be time consuming. You have to be educated, you have to be able to answer the questions, and you want to be able to buy them at a good price. In there, you go to a postcard show, the sellers there are going to be pricing up their real photo postcards. I find a lot of them in the quarter boxes that I can get a real good deal on. But there is some cards I'll pay $10, $12 for, knowing I'll get $40 for. Like the Halloween cards, but they sit. They sit sometimes. People just don't want to, pull the trigger and buy it. Or these $4 postcards, people can buy 3, 4, 5 for the price of one of those cards. And that's what I get a lot of times, and that's what I found sells the most, that pays the bills. So if I have some of those higher price ones, I have a lot of average ones that pay the bills. That's what pays the bills. Well, I'm waiting for these to sell. I got to have a variety. I got to have some of those Halloween and stuff in there just to bring the people in and look around. While I'm waiting for these to sell, I'm paying my bills and making money over here with these average ones. So it's a variety to me. If you just do this, it's a waiting game. But if you get really good at it and get a good reputation, it can be better than this. That's a whole nother niche that I'm not in. I'm over in the quantity area. And I can't do everything. I can't read the back of cards. I can't go after stamps. I can't look at everything. I had to stop. And I said, I'm going to divide it back to Chrome. Yes, I'll do real photos, and I know about them, and I can figure it out, but I really target the average cards. Presentation, good consistent scans, pleasing packaging, not all this tape and all these filler cards and all this other stuff in there. You want to reduce your expense on that and just make it easy for a buyer. I put a brand new sleeve on every postcard I sell. They're cheap, easy way to do it, and that. Timely shipping, I ship 6 days a week, next day shipping. The only day I don't ship is Sunday. That's because the post office is closed. I would ship 7 days a week. It doesn't bother me. You never want to hear on a message from someone on eBay, hey, did you ship this item? Was this ever shipped? That's the worst message I get. I could care less if they do a return or a cancel or whatever like that. Negative feedback, I don't like the message, hey, is this shipped yet? You will get some customers as soon as they buy it, in the first hour they want it shipped. Sometimes it doesn't happen. That's over expectations. But you never want to have that message. All of this increase the perceived value and justify higher prices. You're not just selling a postcard. You're selling a service. I ship in 6 days a week. Next day, I back up everything I sell from the time it leaves my door to the time it gets to their house. I don't care if they said it was delivered and they don't have it in their hand. They tell me it's refunded. They don't like anything. Hassle-free returns. I don't care. I back up. I did it in the toys. Whatever I sell, if they don't like it, I take it back and refund them. That's what it is. And with the eBay standard envelope, if they say it was delivered and not there, that's all you need in a case. In 30 to 90 days, you can put a claim in and get your money back. You can't do that with a package. You have to talk to the post office and all this other stuff. eBay standard envelope, just put a case form in, you get your money back. So increasing that and justifying higher prices. Now the challenge is, for average sale price, the market for rare or high value postcards can be a niche, like I talked about, and finding buyers at higher prices takes time. Also, if pricing is too high, it can lower sales volume, so your sales will go down. So you got to find that is. And there's a lot of sellers out there. You can go look at stores. Stay away from the lot lower ones and the real higher ones. Find where you want to be and what you want to do and stuff in there for average sale price. Then we get into profit, which is the hardest thing to me to make money because it takes a lot of things. It's the hardest increase. Profit percent is the most difficult to grow because it's a function of both sales and average sale price. It takes those two things, but also includes costs like sourcing, shipping, eBay fees. Some things are non-discretional. eBay has a set fee for your store, for your value-added fees at the end, and all that stuff. That's fixed. What's not fixed is how much you promote, your sales, all this other stuff they try to add on to you to get more sales. If you can't do it with just the basics of an eBay store, I just don't understand how people can think by promoting percent is going to get them more money. You're paying people to buy your stuff. If you can get them in organically, then use that other stuff. But organically is what I do. I can weather anything. But there are fees. There's shipping. You don't put these things in a big heavy envelope because you can get 3 to 4 cards in this little envelope for 69 cents. Use those big stiffer envelopes because you want to be better than everybody else. It isn't going to happen. I open this envelope, I throw it in the garbage. I put a thank you card in there, I throw it in the garbage and stuff. I just use a stamp on the back for $20, $25, just like that. Doesn't add weight, and I think they said you can get like 15 to 20,000 stamps with this stamp, and I get away with it. I just put the postcard in a sleeve, put it in the envelope, and I stamp it, and I put an eBay standard envelope on there. That's it. These things are made to be mailed in there. Now, if I have a higher end card, those differently. I sell them in the boxes. If I sell a $60 Halloween card, they get Ground Advantage, the whole works. But that's above $20, so that's not eBay standard envelope. Cost of goods sold, you need to source postcards at low prices, which can be difficult if you're looking for rare or collectible items. Fees and shipping, eBay takes a cut. Final value fees, managed payments, promotional fees, and shipping costs can eat into profits, especially on lower priced items. I have to be very careful. Offering free shipping may boost sales, but it also cuts into profit and margins. There's no free shipping, really. It cost me 69 cents to send a postcard anywhere in the country, Hawaii, Alaska, whatever. 69 cents. It's added in my price of the postcard. And I just put free shipping, so I don't get those conversations about combined shipping, refunds, and stuff like that. I see a lot of cards, $5 per postcard, 75-cent shipping, in case they get a return. If someone says they don't get a $5 postcard, do you think I'm going to ask them to send it back? Probably not. I just move on. I don't get many returns or refunds at all. It's not even figured into my business as much anymore as I used to do with packages. But 69, if I just say $4.75, it's added in there. I bought the card for a penny. By separating it out, people's got to think. I've been doing free shipping since I started. I'm not saying it's the right way. I just started it. I'm not going to change. It just works for me. I don't do best offer and stuff. I'm not going to go back and forth on for 25 cents on a postcard. I had a guy the other day. Luckily, I saw the message, but I just deleted him. It was a $4.75 postcard. Hey, will you take $4.50 for it? Come on. I can look in my car and find a quarter. No, I didn't even respond. I deleted the message. People say that's going to hurt your store. So be it. I'm not going to spend the time to talk to this guy. A lot of these people will hit 20, 30 sellers a night doing that. They'll save 20 bucks. I commend them for that. I'm not going to spend my time with those people. Now, if it's a $60 postcard and they offer 50, hey, I might do something. I'm not stupid, but that doesn't come too often. But I'm not going to argue about $1 or 50 cents. It's not worth your time. And it's not going to give you more sales. You're just paying someone to buy your stuff. Efficiency and scaling. Balancing volume and price becomes tricky. Selling low-cost postcards in bulk might increase sales, but lower profit margins. So at the end of the day, I talked to a lot of people. I sold 400 postcards this month. Okay, what did you sell them? Average sale price? 99 cents. There's nothing left. Nothing left. I'm doing less work. I could sell, a quarter of that and probably make the same amount of profit on the bottom line that they did. I'm doing less work and making more money. Yeah, they sold 400 postcards, but 99 cents a piece. All that work, they're going to burn out. So it increased sales but lower profit margins while focusing on rare high-priced postcards and result in slow-moving inventory. That's why I got a mix. I got more of the average than I do the higher price. Since I'm pretty well here, maybe to 2025, can I go out and get some higher price ones? Do a little bit more of that? That's on the list. If I got the time, I got a lot of these, is that something I can do? That's how a budget can help you think. Now, in conclusion here, in summary of these, sales volume is the easiest as it relies on higher listing numbers and visibility strategies. We hear about it all the time. Average sale price is moderate effort, requiring strategy in sourcing, shipping, and presentation increase the value of each sale. You're not just selling a postcard, you're selling a service. You have to know eBay, you have to know postcards, and you have to know how to handle all the situations come in. How do you do that? List your first 1,000 postcards, sell your first 100 or so postcards. You're going to figure it out. Ask questions in the comments here or send me an email at contact@SMPostcards.com. Somebody's been through what you're going to go through on there. But you got to stick with it. It's just not an overnight thing. The profit is the hardest to increase as it depends on reducing costs while balancing volume and ASP. A lot of people get themselves in a jam and they want the profit. I buy envelopes for Ko-Fi and myself. I'll buy them in 1,000 to 3,000. That's it, because I sell them in Ko-Fi and I go through a lot here. Most of the time I'm buying 1,000 over there, 1,000 here, and I have right now about 3,000, 4,000 envelopes here that I have, but I'm not going to go out and spend 10,000 because I'm not going to sell 10,000 postcards in a year. Your cash flow just went to hell, basically. You used all your cash to buy envelopes that you're not going to use for the whole year. So now you don't have that $1,000 to go out and buy those rare postcards. Plus, if I expense $100 on my taxes, my expenses to save taxes, say I bought this here for $100. I'm going to write it off at the end of the year to save taxes. I bought this for $85 because I got $15 discount, a 15.3% self-employment tax. I saved $15, but I spent $100 of my money to buy this at the end of the year. Just think if people spend $1,000 to reduce their taxes, what did they save? 75 bucks? And they can use that money for something else. So that's not a good I've never been a fan of that at the end of the year. Buy all this stuff to save, reduce taxes, because it's just a discount. You're just buying things on discount. Manage it throughout the year. Keep your cash flow, because your cash flow just went to hell by spending $1,000 on stuff that it's going to take you 2 years to use. So that's what I think of that. A lot of stuff about budgets here. Sorry it got a little long. I'm pretty passionate about this stuff, and I like talking about it because I learn every time I do. But if you don't have a budget on those three things, sales, average sale price, and profit, and you figure out what you want, then what are you shooting for? Are you trying to compare yourself to others? I wouldn't do that, because you don't know the whole story. It's what you want. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm going to challenge myself in 2025 a little more than I have in the last few years, because I have the time, I have the knowledge, I have the cards, and I have the experience. So we'll see how it goes. Now, since that went really long, longer than I expected, I'm just going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Here's some more fish. If you got any questions about this, put it in the comments so everybody can see what's being asked, or just send me an email or whatever and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.